Hey y'all, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can make your own DIY Birch winter decor item by just using aluminum cans like what your vegetables normally come in, or Pringles cans, just whatever type of cylinder cans that you may have laying around your house. Now I made 3 pieces of birch in this video. One of them I'm using as a vase. So I have my greenery in the top, and this is actually a breadcrumb can, if you can believe that. So we're covering it in masking tape, we're painting over it. I'll show you how you can get this wood effect to make it look just like a piece of birch. So I also made 2 other ones with it because I just think it looks better with at least 3 of them, but you can make as many as you want or as little as you want. It's just a really quick and easy decor item that you can make for your home for this winter season. So let's get into the video and I'll show you guys how to make them. So for this craft I'm using a breadcrumbs container, a Pringles can, and the aluminum can that your vegetables and things like that come in. So you'll also need masking tape, some twine, a rough tip brush, some white paint or an off-white paint, and I'm going to use a mix between the melted chocolate and the coffee latte paints because it's the closest colors that I have to the birch wood effect that I'm going for. So you don't have to use these particular colors, just whatever color's closest to that wood effect. You'll also need just a pair of craft scissors and a hot glue gun. So we're going to start with the metal can. So what you're going to do is just start applying your tape around your can. We're going to do a couple of different layers of this. And it's okay if it is not perfect for any like bubbling up that you may get on the edges, because this is going to be, we're recreating wood, so it's okay if it has some imperfections as wood does. So I'm just getting down as close as I can to the bottom of this can, and we're also going to go back and add some as close as we can to the top rim of this as well. So when you have one layer you can see through it still, so I'm going to do some more layers of it. And so I'm doing individual strips of tape just so I can try to avoid it doing so much bubbling. It just makes it easier as far as keeping it somewhat smooth onto your can and easier to work with and manage. Now we have all of this covered with our tape, and I'm just going to flatten out as much of the bubbles as I can. And I'm going to go ahead and do my other 2 cans as well. Then when we get to the painting portion of it, we can just paint all of them in one go. Okay, so once you have all of your containers taped, you have all of them covered, then we're going to move on to painting them the solid white. And you're just going to lay the paint on there. It's no particular technique for this. We're just going to cover it with all of our paint. Once all that is pretty much dried, you're going to move on to your next step of adding your dark brown. So we're going to take our rough bristled brush and just dab a little bit of this dark brown. Try to thin it out. and then you're just going to brush over your can. Just do it in various spots all over the can. I'd say try to keep them light as you can, but you may have some darker spots, and that's okay because you're going to end up adding some darker spots later on anyway. So like right here, I put way too much paint there, but we're going to go back over that and correct that later on in the process. And so now I'm just going back over with my white. And just dry brushing. I still have a little bit of that brown underneath on this paintbrush, so I didn't clean my brush, so it is blending it a little bit, and that's how I kind of want it, just so I can correct some of these darker places, and it also just kind of blends in. Alright, so for our next step, you'll see that I have a pencil here now. This is what I forgot to mention in the beginning. You will need this just so you can do your little markings along the grayish color that birch wood typically has. We're just going to add little lines along our wood just to give it more of a birch wood look. So I'm just going to take and just mark along my cylinder. So just, you can do light marks, you can do some dark ones, just lines along your birch wood. And then we're also going to add more of that birch wood effect. I'm going to go along one of these areas and do those large worn spot looking spots that birch wood typically has. Now for our next step, I'm going to use this lighter brown and do the same type of brush strokes, just barely touching the can, doing super light strokes and just kind of randomly throughout the can. Now for this last painting step, we're going to go back to our white. And again, you're just going to brush over the really dark places. We're going to blend in a little bit of these darker spots on here just so they're not so bold on the wood, and just kind of just blending in some of the really dark places on here. So you're going to flip your can over, and this is where your twine is going to come in. So you're going to start with this little dab of glue right here in the center. And we're going to twist up our twine. So we're going to place this down onto our glue spot, and we're just going to continue to glue this around. And if your rope ends up being off-centered like mine is, clearly, you can go back and add another line here and then just fill that in with your twine. Now the bottoms have the twine. You'll see it looks kind of like a wood log now. And so I'm going to pick one of these to be my base. So I'm going to flip it over. So this one I'm going to use since it's larger and it's the middle size. So the rest of these are going to stay like this. And then you'll just, you know, turn them to whichever side is the best. That's the good thing about it. If you have one side that looks better than the other, then just have that side facing out when you go to set them out. Now I'm going to put my greenery in here. And y'all, I found this really pretty stuff right here at Walmart. Thought it was gorgeous. I just love the glitter. I love how it looks like snow. Just so pretty. You just arrange them in here. And I think I'm going to add these just to give it a little color. This is already so much white and grays and things like that going on. There it is, you guys. Isn't that so pretty? And I'll also show you guys some close-up pictures of it. My recording camera quality isn't as great as the photos that my phone takes. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video.